Hello everyone, welcome to Văn Lang University online lesson. My name is Quân and today we are going to learn grammar. The grammar point today is making concessions, which is designed for Unit 6, Animals and Medicine. After this video, you will be able to distinguish between concession clause and main clause. Then you can make concessions using although and even though. Now, let's get started. First of all, what is making a concession? Making a concession is saying that one idea is true, but another idea is stronger or more important. We use although and even though to connect the two ideas. In each sentence, there are two ideas, which means there are two clauses. The concession clause and main clause. The concession clause starts with although or even though. The main clause contains more important idea. Now, let's have a look at the examples here. Alright, now you can pause the video for around 10 seconds to think of the concession clause and the main clause. Let's find out the concession clause and main clause in each sentence. Now let's go to each sentence. Sentence 1. Although my dog is noisy is the concession clause because it starts with although and the idea is true. I love him very much is the main clause which contains more important idea. Sentence number 2. Botulinum toxin or Botox can be deadly is the main clause because it contains more important idea or stronger idea. Even though it can also treat muscle disorders is the concession clause because it starts with even though. Now, let's move on to how to form the concession sentences. When the concession clause comes before the main clause, the form will be although or even though plus concession clause, comma, and main clause. Remember to separate the two with a comma. When the concession clause comes after the main clause, the form will be main clause plus although, even though, plus concession clause. Now, let's practice. So in this exercise, I'd like you to have a look at the sentences. Decide which clause A or B is more important. Then you use concessions like although or even though to connect the two ideas. Now you can pause the video for around 4 minutes and then come back to check the answers with me. Now, let's check the answer. For number 1, A is more important, and the sentence will be, although a small amount of arsenic can be deadly, arsenic is still used to treat certain diseases. And 2, A is still the more important idea, so the final sentence is, the poison dart frog is highly toxic, even though it is just 2 inches long. Well done, guys. Now let's move on to the next exercise. Practice 2. So in this activity, I'd like you to match clause A to clause B so that you can make concessions. Now you can pause the video for around 4 minutes and then come back to check the answer. Here are the answers. I'd like you to practice pronunciation with me, so let's go through each sentence together. 1D. Although it was getting late, we decided to stay and talk a little longer. 2C. We like to go shopping at the supermarket even though the prices there are a little higher. 3B. Although he said he was on a diet, he had chocolate cake for dessert. 4E. Although he is extremely afraid of traveling by airplane, we can convince him to join us. And 5A. We went to the beach even though it was raining. Alright, you've done a very nice job. Now let's move on to the last, practice. So in this practice, we can wrap up and apply all the knowledge that we learned today. So in this practice, I'd like you to guess the meaning of the following pictures and make concessions about them. You can pause the video for around 4 to 5 minutes to think of the answer, and don't forget to write down your answers so that you can check with me later. Now it's time to check the answers together. For number 1, what is your guess? So is it about bad weather, rainy day, something like this? So the answer is, although the weather was bad, we went to school and supported our teachers with the events. Number 2 is absolutely about sugar, right? So my suggestion is, even though sugar is not good for our health, people usually use it much in their meals. And finally, number 3, a girl or maybe a woman who's staying up late until nearly 2 a.m. So my suggestion is, I woke up early this morning, even though I stayed up late last night. So, this is the end of the lesson today. Thank you so much for joining me today and see you next time.